Welcome back. All right, 4 games tonight in the NHL, and there were more twists and turns tonight. I swear, this was some entertaining hockey. Might be some frustrating hockey depending on who you cheer for, but entertaining. Yeah, no, the entertainment value is definitely there. All right, starting off with a very entertaining game between Florida and Columbus. It was Merzlikins versus Bobrovsky. The teams exchange rushes, but the first shot on net for Florida goes in the net, and it's the first goal of the season for Lomberg. Lawrence and Mahura with the assists at 2:19. And then the second shot by Florida goes in as well, and it was through a screen. Forsling from Reinhardt at 3:09. So the Panthers press at 5 minutes. The shots are up to 6-1 at this point. There's a post for Barkov from the slot, and then he buries a rebound. So Barkov scores from Reinhardt and Mikkola at 6:09. That's already the 11th shot of the game for Florida. So Columbus doesn't start on time. As I said, I figured Florida would be mad after that loss against Chicago, and I guess so. Spencer Martin comes in, and that kind of changes momentum eventually. So Jackets press for response. They don't get shots out of it, though. The Panthers press at 9 minutes. The shots are 16-1. Florida, 9.5 minutes in. It's all Panthers. Martin's holding it at 3-0 until on their second shot, Columbus scores. So it's Corrali from Goodbranson and Danforth at 15:41. Then there's a turnover at the Columbus blue line. Goes the other way. Roslovic to Jenner. Jenner buries it at 18:51. Suddenly, it is a one-goal game after the first period. So Florida dominates most of that period, but Columbus, they take advantage of a couple of opportunities and they score. So second period, early jump for Columbus. There's a post for Tkachuk as the Panthers press. The shots are 3-2 for Columbus 5 minutes in. Marchenko fires one high from the slot. We end up with a power play for Columbus, and they score on it. It's Marchenko from Provorov and Texier at 10:02. Texier finally on the score sheet with a point. Buries a loose puck at the net, which was actually behind Bobrovsky. So Bobrovsky doesn't quite hold on to it. Panthers press to respond. The Jackets press back with 5 minutes left. Reinhardt has a blasted save. The Jackets rush the other way. 3:12 left. Panthers with a power play. Forsling fires one high. That power play's killed off 2 shots on that power play. So after 2 periods of play, it's 3-3. Third period, there's a power play for Columbus. This is where the ref is informed that he sucks, because you have to let the referee know. Otherwise, he won't know. The power play's killed off 2 shots. The shots on net are 2-1 Columbus at 4.5 minutes. So the only shot, 5-on-5 in 4.5 minutes, is won by Florida. Sillinger's denied and close. We get some punching with that. Jenner has a rush chance that deflects out. Pressed by Blue Jackets at the half. Verhaeghe has a shot that deflects out. And then at 12:30, Texier, he buries his own rebound on a rush, so he's got a goal now to go with that assist. Peak and Sillinger with the assists. So Columbus suddenly has gone from being down 3-0 to being up 4-3. Panthers press with 6 minutes left. They pull the goalie with 3 minutes left, and then Provorov turns the puck over. Cousins says thanks and scores to tie it at 19:03. So that pushes it into overtime. The Panthers control early, and on a rebound on the rush, Verhaeghe scores. Lundell and Tkachuk with the assists at 1:16. So Florida pulls this one out. They win 5-4 in overtime. They go to 6-4-1 with the win. Columbus 4-5-3 with the overtime loss. Shots on net 20-7 Florida in the first, 12-10 Florida in the second, 13-5 Florida in the third, and they get both shots in overtime. So they outshoot Columbus 47-22. Power plays, Columbus 1 for 2, Florida 0 for 1. The hits 28-8 for Columbus. Merzlikins saved 8 out of 11. Again, that's at 6:09. He had faced 11 shots. And then Martin saves 34 to 36 the rest of the way. Bobrovsky, not busy, not fantastic either. 18 saves on 22 shots. But again, they get the 5th goal. They win the game. All is forgiven. All right, moving along. Toronto and Tampa, another bonkers game. This was insane. After the first period, I was like, well, I guess we're going to be talking about Toronto pretty soon here if this keeps up. So it's Johansson versus Samsonov. Early jump for Tampa Bay. The shots are 2-0 in their favor, 2.5 minutes in. But on their second shot, Toronto scores. It's Nyes from Marner and Matthews at 3:42. He scores from in close. Matthew Nyes fits in very well on that line. Good for him. Nylander fires one wide on a rush, but then at 4:17, from the face-off circle, Hedman wires one far corner, and that's the third shot on net for Tampa. Kucherov and Point with the assists. And then on their 5th shot at 6 minutes and 10 seconds, Tampa Bay takes the lead. It's Kucherov from Hagel and Sergachev. It's a one-timer on his own entry. So this is another game that's it's a little out of control. Point has a net feed that's blocked as Tampa Bay presses for another. Reeves has a chance that's held. There's some pushing there. The shots are 8-7 for Tampa Bay at the half. We then get a power play for Tampa, and they score on it. It's Kucherov from Hedman and Stamkos at 11:28. It's a one-timer from Kucherov's spot. He definitely has a spot on the power play, and he does score often from there. We then get a power play for Toronto. Marner has a shot that deflects wide. There's a shorthanded rush by Mott. That chance is saved, but Tampa Bay draws a penalty. So it's 11 seconds of 4-on-4, and then they go to the power play, and they score on that one as well. It's point from Kucherov and Hedman at 15:13. It is still in the first period, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good cycle. It's buried, and Woll goes in the net. Samsonov's done. He was not happy. This is the second time he's been pulled. I believe both of them against Tampa Bay. Leafs press with a minute and a half left, but after the first period, it's 4-1 Tampa. Things don't look good for Toronto, but there's 40 minutes left to play. And then some. So second period, early chances for the Leafs. Sherry's then denied on a 2-on-1 rush. The fans call when the referee doesn't. They're not that upset, though, because Matthews wires one through a screen from Marner and Brody at 2:22. Riley's then denied on a 3-on-2 rush, and then Matthews gets another goal. He has one more goal than he has games played to this point in the season. I checked. That's pretty good. Nyes and Marner with the assist there. So Marner with a bunch of points already. That's at 5:42. And suddenly the score is 4-3. So the shots are 8-3 for the Leafs at 9.5 minutes. The Leafs get a power play. That's killed off. Just the one shot. It's 4-3 Tampa going into the third period. It does not stay that way for long. At 1:55, Yarncroke buries a rebound in close. Robertson and Domi with the assists on that. It was a nice play by Robertson to set that up as well. At 2:03, so 8 seconds later, obviously on a rush, wires at far corner, it's Mitch Marner. So a bunch of points for Marner over the last couple of games. Nyes and Riley with the assists. So all of a sudden, Matthew Nyes with 3 points on the night, and Toronto has their second lead. They scored first and then gave up 4, and then needed to score 4 to get the lead back. So then we get a power play for Tampa after that. So the referee is informed that he sucks, because that's what happens. Bolt cycle, Lagesson clears. The power play's killed off 4 shots for Tampa Bay on that power play. Pressed by Tampa at 6 minutes. Cirelli's denied on a net drive. The Leafs press with 7 minutes left. We get a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. And then at 17:35, Hagel buries a loose puck. DeHaan and Chernak with the assists. So that ties it and forces overtime. In the overtime, it takes 46 seconds. Yarncroke, it's a tic-tac-toe play in close. Riley and Nylander with the assists. And that is a 12-game point streak for Nylander. He keeps that going with the assist in the overtime. So Toronto wins 6-5 in the overtime. They go to 6-4-2. It's the second time they've beaten Tampa in overtime. Tampa Bay is still not good in overtime. They're 5-3-4 now on the season. Shots on net, 14-8 Tampa in the first, 12-6 Toronto in the second. Both teams had 11 shots in the third. Toronto had both shots in the overtime, including the one that matters. They end up out shooting Tampa Bay 33-31 in this one. Power plays, Tampa Bay 2 for 3, Toronto 0 for 3. They hits 36-32 for Tampa. Johansson 27 saves on 33 shots. Samsonov saves 8 out of 12. Woll saved 18 out of 19. So again, Woll looks like he's going to be your starting goalie in Toronto. And another pull for Samsonov. Either that or Samsonov just won't play against Tampa, one way or the other. All right, next up, Boston and Dallas. So I really enjoy watching games between teams I cheer for, and they always end up not liking each other by the end of said game. Tonight was another example of that. Boston and Dallas were really at each other pretty early on in this game, to the point where the referee had to call over Marchand and Ben, who are the captains of each team, and kind of a chat with them while they're glaring at each other. I was waiting for the ref from UFC. Let's get it on. Anyways, Bruins had the early edge. The shots are 3-0 in their favor 2 minutes in. Harley's denied on a 3-on-2 rush. Boston draws themselves a power play. There's a one-timer for Pasternak. They cycle. It's killed off. Ottinger with a good start to the game. Strong forechecking by Boston. The Bruins would press at the half, and Johnny Beecher gets his first NHL goal from Lindholm at 10:21. It was top shelf near side, and again, it's his first goal. Kudos to Johnny Beecher for winning himself a job and getting a goal in the NHL. I like Beecher. Good fourth-line center. Bruins limiting chances for Dallas at this point. The Stars also having a lot of turnover issues, driving Darryl Ray insane. Pavelski's denied. Hintz has a shot that's held. And then Lowry gets his first NHL goal as well. He scores from Heinen and Mitchell at 14:09. So Ian Mitchell with his second helper. And Danton Heinen on the board. I believe the first time since he was re-signed by the Boston Bruins. So that one's through a screen. So not much chance for Jake there. 3:56 left. The Stars get a power play. They cycle. Heiskanen's denied. There's more cycling. It's killed off. Dallas presses after. But after the first period, it's 2-0 Boston. Second period, Bruins press 2.5 minutes in. Carlo fires one wide. The Bruins are controlling the play. Stars press at 6 minutes. The shots on net are only 2-1 for Dallas at 6.5 minutes. Again, both teams are very good defensively. We get a power play for Boston. They cycle. Stars fail to clear. Ottinger ends up bailing them out and holding onto the puck so they can get a change in. Stars then get a power play after that one's done, and that one's killed off as well. Bruins press with 5.5 minutes left. Good net protection by Boston, not giving Dallas prime opportunities. Bruins press. They're kept to the outside. It remains 2-0 after 2. Third period. Dallas came out to play in that third period. So Dodonov has a net feed, that's blocked. Steele has a net feed picked off. The shots are 2 apiece at 4 minutes, but there's a point shot that deflects in and puts Dallas on the board. It's Wyatt Johnston from Lindell and Heiskanen at 5:07. Stars press at 8 minutes. Suter's denied. Dallas with momentum, and the emotions are up. There's basically punching on almost every whistle. We then get a power play for the Bruins, and they score on it. It takes 6 seconds. Marchand scores from Van Riemsdyk and Pastrnak at 9:51. So the Stars press for a response. 8:37 left. The Bruins go back to the power play. Hintz is robbed, and Robertson has a post shorthanded. So really dangerous shorthanded chances. The power play's killed off. Probably the best for the Bruins that it is because, yeah, the best opportunities really were for Dallas. Sagan has a chance that's held. There's some pushing there. The goalie pull happens with 2.5 minutes left. Pastrnak beats out an icing. That's key, of course, to avoid, the 6-on-5 being tired and all that and get your line change in. 1:39 left. Dallas calls a timeout, and eventually they score during the 6-on-5. It is Pavelski from Robertson and Heiskanen at 19:32. So that one deflects in because that's what Pavelski does. He tips pucks in. And then with 5.7 seconds left, the Stars get a power play. I will agree with the announcers. I was surprised they didn't put a couple of seconds back on the clock. I thought there was time that went off. But the Bruins win the face-off anyways and then just basically tie the puck up along the boards. I think it was Carlo that did it. Either way, Boston holds on. It's not the prettiest of wins, but when are they with Boston lately? It's just they win. They win 3-2 over Dallas. They go to 10-1-1. Dallas has had trouble scoring the last few games now. They're 7-3-1 on the season. So the shots on net, 14-11 Boston in the first, 11-10 Boston in the second, 16-4 Dallas in the third. Final shots are 37-29 for the Stars. Power plays, Boston 1 for 4. Dallas 0 for 3. The hits, 17-10 for Dallas. Swayman saves 35 out of 37. The goaltending's fantastic in Boston. And Ottinger was pretty good as well. 26 saves on 29 shots. And basically, you had to make sure you didn't see it if you wanted to get the goal tonight if you're Boston. And last but not least, I get the feeling this is going to be the most watched part of this review. Just a feeling, something tells me it's Edmonton and Vancouver. Edmonton will not see Vancouver again now until April. The Oilers will be glad for this. What's weird is, out of the gate, it looked like they were going to just run Vancouver over, much like it looked like they were going to the last time these teams met. So it's Skinner versus Demko. The early jump is for the Oilers. McDavid has a rush chance, that's held. Ekholm fires one wide as the Oilers press. The shots 3 minutes in are 9-1 for Edmonton. 9 shots in 3 minutes. And these are not just puff shots from outside either. Demko was being tested a lot early on there. McDavid to Gagne near miss. There's a power play for Edmonton. They cycle late in the power play and they score. It is Ekholm from Gagne and Kane at 6:41. It's a one-timer for the lead. Edmonton's ahead. The shots are 16-2 9 minutes into the game in favor of Edmonton. So again, everything Oilers, and I thought, yeah, they're due, and it makes some sense. The Oilers should be playing desperate hockey, but then there's a big change. At 11 minutes and 30 seconds, Hughes scores from Kuzmenko and Hronek, and it went in off Desharnais' stick. And as soon as that happens, you feel it. You feel the shift in the game. And then at 13:22, Suter buries one from the slot. Joshua and Cole with the assists. That was only the 4th shot on net for Vancouver. I think at that point the shots were 20-4, and the team with 20 shots is behind 2-1. So, yeah. There's a power play for Vancouver, and they score on it. At 14:52, it's Besser. Besser's going to be sad not to see the Oilers for a while. He loves playing the Oilers, apparently. He scores from Miller and Hughes. The Oilers call a timeout. That was only the 7th shot. Campbell doesn't go in. I never saw any indication Campbell was going to go in. And honestly, I understand why Woodcroft wouldn't do that. You don't want to keep just switching out goalies, because I don't think the goalies are the only problem. I'm not saying the goaltending was great tonight for Edmonton. It wasn't, but I don't think if you switch goalies, it necessarily would have made a difference. So the Canucks press with 2 minutes left, and after the first period, they're up 3-1 in a period where they're outshot by more than 2-1. So that just seems odd, doesn't it? Second period, full Canucks power play to start because Ekholm gets penalized at the end of the first period. He was beside himself at the idea that he was penalized at the end of that period. Good cycle for the Canucks on that power play, but it's killed off, no shots. So they cycle, they don't take the shot on net. Garland kept everyone close. The Oilers then press at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for Edmonton. Draisaitl has a blast that's held. Gagner hits a post, and then things get pushy when Demko holds on to the puck. Power play's killed off, and then Draisaitl. So here's the thing. Demko's outside of the net. Does he get hit and tripped? Kind of. But was he also trying to stand there and do the pick play behind the net? It looked like he kind of was. So while the Canucks might have tried to challenge for goalie interference, A, he's outside the crease. B, he's not trying to get back to the net. And C, he clearly was throwing a pick, so that could have been called interference on Demko. So yes, you could have called a penalty for a trip on, I think it was Hamblin going behind the net. But you could have penalized Demko as well. So Draisaitl gets the goal from Foegele at 7:38. I thought Hamblin should have had the secondary assist. Last time I checked, it still hasn't been given to him. So yeah, they catch Demko out of the net there. That's Demko's only mistake tonight, really. So then we get a power play for the Canucks. That's killed off, but then Höglander scores to make it 4-1 from Lafferty at 10:52. He buries a rebound on a rush. So things aren't going the Oilers' way at this stage. Heavy Canucks press the next shift. And in the final minute, the Oilers get some pressure. But again, you could see the frustration for the Oilers. The start to the season they've had, it's really wearing on them. I don't think McDavid's 100%. I don't think McDavid's body is doing what he wants it to do. And I think that's why in the third, he kind of snaps. So third period, the Oilers score, but was it kicked in? Yes. Initially, I thought, well, that's a goal. It just kind of goes around and goes in. But you can see he clearly kicks the puck. The funny thing is, if Foegele doesn't kick the puck there, I think it goes in anyways. That might have been what the Oilers were kind of arguing, but I do think that puck probably would have gone in if he hadn't kicked it. I really do. So, you know, it's a break for Vancouver. Miller has a rush chance that saved. The shots on net are 5-4 Edmonton, 4 minutes in. The Oilers press at 5 minutes. We then had a brief little scuffle between Hyman and Miller. They both get 2 minutes. So it's 4-on-4 as everybody's into it. And McDavid was into it there with Miller too, and he cross-checked Miller in the face, and Miller cross-checked him back. I thought they could have taken McDavid as well. And then Suter has a 2-on-1 chance that's held, and McDavid's on the ice and decides to attack Suter. And I understand. This season has gotten out of control. You're McDavid, you're the captain, you're watching this take place. Again, I don't think physically he's 100%. I don't think he's close. And so the frustration does boil over. This is something that's happened in hockey for as long as I've watched hockey. So he sent to the box. The Canucks come out with a power play. But more importantly, not just McDavid in the box, Draisaitl gets 10-minute misconduct. So there's a shorthanded rush chance for Nurse. He fires wide on a 2-on-1. And then Miller scored. Now initially, the referee decided it had hit the crossbar. Elias Pettersson knew it went in the net. So he pointed at the net, and then the horn sounds, which means that's a goal. Power play marker for Miller from Hughes and Hronek at 7:50. With 8:25 left, the Oilers get a power play. During that power play, Woodcroft with some word for the officials on apparently what he felt was a missed call on JT Miller. Again, it was a very physical game. I think there were missed calls both directions. And whatever he said to the official didn't make the official happy. And so Woodcroft's kicked out of the game. Now, watching the Vancouver feed, by the time they show the Oilers bench, he's already gone. So I think Woodcroft knew he was going to get kicked out with what he was saying. So it's 22 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Then with 1:20 left, the Canucks get a power play. Again, Nurse, frustration penalties for the Oilers here. And Brock Besser with his second power play goal of the game. Pettersson and Hughes with the assists at 19:05. So With that assist, Pettersson right now is the league leader in points. I believe that Kucherov tied them early in this game against Toronto, but then he didn't score the rest of the way. So I believe Pettersson has the lead in points with 21 so far this season. And that caps it off. It's a 6-2 win for Vancouver. They go to 9-2-1. I don't understand it either. The Oilers 2-8-1. I don't understand that one either. But the shots on net, 20-8 for Edmonton in the first, 17-9 Vancouver in the second, 13-10 Edmonton in the third. The Oilers outshoot them 42-35. Power plays, the Oilers 1 for 3, Vancouver 3 for 6. So Vancouver wins the special teams battle again against the Oilers. Hits 25-22 Edmonton. Skinner 29 saves on 35 shots. At some point in time, Ken Holland's going to have to decide what he's doing with his goaltending. The problem is they're both really well paid, so, right? And then Demko saved 40 out of 42. Again, shows he's one of the best goalies in the league right now, and tremendous results there. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.